Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and I also want to thank everyone for speaking today. And, you know, I think it's so important now that timing is crucial, and this bill will be crucial, and particularly what Ms. Thornton, and when you have requested that the name, the bill had be changed, and I definitely believe that that's something that we need to address. And it is worrying that, you know, that this is going on now over 20 years. And even though, you know, like, everybody is getting older and, you know, children are growing up. So I think for me and for, I know, the committee, the timing of this bill is going to be crucial, but also the fact of how we actually make sure we get this bill right, because we need to do it right this time. We have an opportunity here now to change things, and I believe that will happen this time. And I also want to address about the comprehensive leaflet. And I think that's really important. Communication and access here will be absolutely vital. And a leaflet, a comprehensive leaflet, will be so important to access information. And I want to know, what do you think, what more can we do on that? Or what do you feel that we should do to address that urgently? Because I believe that's part of the tools going forward. Yeah. The other issue, I was going to actually ask about the social workers and our counsellors, and I know that has been addressed, that, you know, it needs to be, you know, a qualified counsellor in this, or someone that has the, I suppose, like, we're dealing with situations here of people that have been heartbroken, that have gone through so much, that we have to make sure that the counselling that they receive, or maybe whoever receives that particular counselling, will get the proper counselling that they need. So again, I think it's all about, you know, finding the right ways to actually make sure that we address your concerns. So look, I want to thank you all. And again, maybe if you could come back to me on the comprehensive leaflet, what you feel maybe we should be looking at in that. And just to ask about the accessing information. And, you know, you all spoke today about how you get the proper information. And, you know, like Rhoda has spoke there about, we need to make sure now that when the information is given, that it's all the information that you can access yourselves, that it's not pieces of paper. Again, I just want to thank you very much. So maybe if you come in about the comprehensive leaflet and the changing of the head of it. Thank you very much.
So does Ms. McManus or Ms. Coughlin want to come in on that? Yeah, go ahead, Ms. McManus.
The reason the leaflet is so important is because it reflects really, it's from our experience that we know how necessary this is, because we have sat with quite a number of mothers who did receive the information that was in the file, photocopies of what was in the file. First of all, many of them didn't realise the significance of some of those bits of information. I give as an example, there was a woman who did receive her son's birth certificate, but she didn't see straight off that his birth wasn't registered until he was 6. She had signed an adoption consent form, so she thought, and then she discovered, in fact, it was a permission for her son to be boarded out, which was devastating news for her. But unless there is somebody who is prepared to tell the truth about those documents, I mean, the social workers don't. They send out photocopies of the information, but they don't even tell you if this indicates an illegal adoption or not. I mean, we have sat with a woman who we were able to tell there is the signs of an illegal adoption, but the state organisation, I have to be careful here, that sent this to her did not say in the covering letter, your son was illegally adopted. But that was a fact. So they're not prepared to own up to the illegalities. The reason that the information leaflet needs to be so detailed is because not even we as mothers know what might be in the file. We don't know if anyone did write about us, did write a report. We don't know whether our children did write in looking for information about us. We know none of these things. And unless there is a detailed list of what might be in the file, so that we can ask that question when we go to meet with the social worker and go through the file with her or him, it's pretty useless, you know. Anyway, sorry, maybe I'm going off the point here. Sorry about that.
Does Ms. Coughlin want to come in? Yeah.
Yes, please. I actually met my daughter and I actually found out things. I got some of the lists back from the government, Freedom of Information shortly. So much stuff was not included. And I mean, like an example, my daughter's adopted mother had written to the agency for 5 years, giving a detail of how my daughter was doing. I never received that. And even in the information I got from them, there was none of that included. My daughter went in when she was 18, 19. She was going to Australia and was told, it's useless. There's no way will she be ever meeting me. That's it. This was from the Catholic Protection Society. She was told, it doesn't matter, you won't be meeting her, so it doesn't make any difference. There were so many things. And when I got my papers, or some of my papers from the Catholic Protection Society, I was 18 on one page, I was 19 on the other, and I was 21 on the other. My baby was born in Finbars. My baby was born in Finbars, but my baby was born in Bessborough. My baby was born in Finbars. The social worker who was in charge of the adoption came down to Cork to meet me. Never happened. Met her one day when the adoption papers were being signed. And as I said, you can be terribly naive, you know. I mean, I genuinely believed this was my choice. My daughter at this stage would be brought up in an institution, rented out or boarded out or whatever you like to call it. She would have a horrendous life for her first 17 years. That is what I believed. Or I could give her some form of life. And I believed, or I had to believe, that the person who wanted to adopt her really wanted a child to love and cherish. But I'm just saying is things that were supposed to be, again, this agent or this social worker signed her name to say that she knew me very well. She had met me on more than one occasion and happened to be very well known to me. And she signed her name. I never met the woman up to 5 minutes before I walked from South Ann Street to Dawson Street to sign a paper. And yet I'm expected to believe that the truth and everything else is in these papers that my daughter might read or receive. That these nuns, and I'm sorry, I call them that and whatever, these nuns are writing out details. Social workers are without being rude, social worker, I mean, there's two downward, there was a third one. I was in hospital because they left half the afterbirth in me. I'm not going to go into all of that, but they actually had in one of my letters, we know you were in hospital with a kidney infection. So everything that was in the page, this is a better way of saying to you, is half-truths, if that makes sense. Half-truths. And that is what I got.